In this video, I'll be showing you how to replace a radiator cooling fan assembly on a Chevrolet Equinox. It is located behind the front bumper and behind the radiator. Let's get started. We're going to go ahead and raise and support our vehicle and make our way to our splash shield. We're going to find a number of 7mm bolts holding this splash shield down. We're only going to remove the right side portion to access our radiator drain. So we're going to start in the middle and go to the right. Gonna remove our mud guard right here. There's one on the far corner as well. And there's gonna be another one under it. Now we're going to pull our splash shield down. We have access to our drain up here. Now I'm going to bring in my collection receptacle for our coolant. Now let's drain our coolant. We're placing a little rubber hose over it so we can drain it directly on our bucket. Our drain is right here, so unscrew it. If you're having trouble, you could use some needle nose pliers as well. Now let it drain out. So we're going to want to go ahead and open our hood and locate our 6 T15 Torx screws on our grill. We're going to go ahead and remove those now. I'll be using a T15 Torx bit. Go ahead and set these aside. Now we're going to lift the grill up off these 2 mounting tabs. I'm going to grab the corners and lift up. Now let's remove the rest of the 7mm bolts holding the splash shield down onto the bumper. Now we can set these aside. Now for our 5 T15 Torx screws on the inner side of the wheel well. To gain access to these, you could turn the wheel all the way in or simply remove it. Now repeat the process for the other side. Now after all our screws have been removed, I'm going to take a trim tool and peel the fender liner back from the bumper. Now we could go ahead and remove the 7mm bolt on the corner. Now repeat the process for the other side. I'm going to place one hand under the plate bracket and one hand on top of the grill and pull the bumper away from the vehicle. Now with our bumper pulled away, I could go ahead and remove my turn signal wire harness. There's a connector right here near the inner fender liner. I'm gonna pull this red tab down. Now that my red tab is undone, I'm gonna take an angled pick to disengage the clip. I'm prying up on the clip. Now I can slide my connector out. Quick inspection for any corrosion or damage. And there it is. Now that my bumper's out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these brackets for the radiator. There's one on the other side, getting held down by two 13mm bolts. I'll repeat the process for the other side. Now under this bracket, we are going to find a coolant hose getting held on by a spring clamp. Remove that using needle nose pliers. Just work it free. Remove the hose just by pulling it. And set it aside. Now we're going to make our way down to the intercooler and locate this shroud. We're going to find our ambient temp sensor here. There is a white tab. We're going to pull that back and remove the connector. I'll be using a pick to undo the tab. I'm going to press down on the white tab and remove the connector. Inspect for any corrosion or damage and set it aside. Now in the shroud, we are going to locate 4 pushpin clips, 2 on each side. Remove those using a trim tool. I'll repeat the process on the other side. Now we could go ahead and pull it away from the vehicle. I'm going to move on to our hood latch. I'm going to use a marker to mark along the edges of it. We're going to be removing this, so upon reinstallation we are going to want to make sure it's aligned. Let's just go along the edges. Same on the other side. Now we can remove our two 10mm bolts. Now let's go ahead and disconnect our latch sensor. Again, there's a red tab. Push that back with your thumb. And remove the connector. I'm going to be using some needle nose pliers to remove the connector from the crossbar. Now on each side of the cross member, we are going to find 2 sensors. They both have the same style connector. Just a red tab. One side I'm going to use my finger, on the other side a pick to slide it back. Now that my red tab is disengaged, I'm going to remove the connector. Repeat this on the other side. Now to fully remove our hood latch from our crossbar, we're going to find 2 clips. We're going to disengage them using a pick. So put the pick behind, push it away and up. Same for this one. Push it away and up. I'll remove the cable from the plastic clip. Now let's go ahead and remove the latch. And set it aside for now. During reinstallation, we want the crossbar aligned, so I'm going to take a marker and mark along the edges as an alignment reference. I'm going to do this on the other side as well. Now to remove our crossbar, we are going to find 4 10mm bolts, 2 on each side. Go ahead and remove those. I'll repeat this on the other side. Now near this connector, we are going to find a plastic clip. Remove that using a trim tool. So just set them aside. Now let's lift it up and out of the way. Set it aside on the engine for now. Now let's remove our headlight. We're gonna find 4 7mm bolts on each corner of the headlight holding it down. Go ahead and remove those. Now for our last bolt. Now let's remove the headlight from the vehicle. I'm gonna pull away. I'm gonna locate our connector, held in by a red tab. Push the red tab back. Now push on the black tab and release the connector. If you find the tab to be stuck, you could use a pick. And inspect for any corrosion or damage. Now repeat the process on the other side. You're gonna have to remove the horn and its bracket. It's held in by one 10mm bolt. Set it aside. I'll pull away the bracket from the vehicle and set the horn aside. Now we're going to locate our transmission oil cooler bracket right here, getting held on by one 10mm bolt as well. Set it aside. Now after removing our bolt, we're going to move down to this clip on the radiator. I'm going to undo it using a trim tool. And set it aside. Now we're going to follow our transmission cooler line and locate these two clips on the fan assembly shroud. Undo these as well using a trim tool. Once they're out, rotate them. We're going to repeat the same for the other one. Now adjacent to these clips, there are two 10mm mounting bolts on each side of the fan shroud. Go ahead and remove those. Now repeat the process for the other side. Now on the passenger side of the vehicle, on the shroud, you are going to locate the harness. It's held in by some clips. As you can see, one's right here, the other one's right here, and it follows along to the bottom of the harness to the connector. I'm going to undo these using my trim tool. Going to locate one more along the side of the shroud. Now we're going to move along to the bottom of the vehicle. Now let's remove the rest of the splash shield and its 7mm bolts. Now pull it away from the vehicle and set it aside. Now we have access to the rest of the harness and its clips. I'll set the harness aside. Now I'm going to locate my fan assembly connector right here. Push down on this tab and pull it out. inspect for any corrosion or damage, and set it aside as well. Now to gain clearance to remove our fan, we are going to undo this upper coolant hose. So grab some pliers and undo the clamp. And we could pull the hose back from the radiator. Now we can remove the fan assembly from the vehicle. Lift it up off the tabs of the radiator. Pull the transmission cooler hose aside. And just lift up. As you pull it up, check on each side and make sure it does not get stuck on the radiator. If it does, just maneuver it out of the way. After some maneuvering out, it comes right out. Now let's install our fan. Lower it down in the vehicle, make sure everything is out of the way. So once the tabs are lined up, pull this towards the radiator. This is going to go over it and push down. Now the fan is installed on the radiator. Now let's install our two 10mm fan mounting bolts. I'll repeat the process for the other side. Now we can look at our transmission oil cooler lines. And the junction right here, I'm going to reinstall it on the radiator. Slide up the mounting tab, push down, and hand through it on your 10mm bolts. On the side of the radiator, there is a mounting location for this clip, holding these two lines down. Just reinstall it by pushing it down. Now we're going to move along to our upper coolant hose and reinstall it as well. Make sure it's fully seated on the radiator and reinstall your clamp. Now reinstall your clamp with your pliers. And now for our horn. On the bracket there is a mounting tab that goes onto the bumper reinforcement right here. So make sure it's aligned and hand through it on your 10mm bolts. Now to reinstall our intercooler shroud. Slides in place. And we can install our 4 push pin clips. I'll repeat this for the other side. We're going to locate our ambient temperature sensor and reconnect it as well. Slide it in and push down on the gray tab. Now for our cooling fan connector. Slide it over and make sure it's fully secure once you push down. Make sure you hear the click, and that looks good. Now for our cooling fan harness clips. These just clip in on the fan assembly. I'm going to start with this one here and just push all the way down. Same with this one right here. And just follow the harness along and locate the mounting locations. Now we're going to follow the harness and install these as well. Now we're going to ensure our petcock is tight. Now let's reinstall our splash shield. There's tabs on the splash shield and they go right into the subframe right here. So make sure they're lined up. Now we're going to install our 7mm bolts. Now we can reinstall our mud guard. This one was missing already, so we're going to skip that one for now. Now that we're back on top of the vehicle, we're going to finish installing the harness on the fan assembly. So again, locate the mounting locations and push down. And our last one is on the corner of the radiator. Now for our transmission cooler line mounting tabs, do the same. Twist them and pull them into the fan shroud. Now to reinstall our crossbar. We did mark it in the beginning, so we're just going to align those markings. Make sure they're aligned on the other side as well. Now we can install our 4 10mm bolts. Now we can snug these down. I'll repeat the process for the other side. Now on each side of the crossbar we are going to have these sensors, so reconnect those as well. Push in the red tab and repeat the process for the other side. Same with this plastic clip here, push it all the way in the crossbar, and now we can install our hood latch. So I'm going to take my hood latch, run the harness under the crossbar, and hand thread on my 2 10mm bolts. When we snug them up, we are going to want to make sure they're aligned with our markings from earlier. As you can see right here. So make sure they're aligned, and now we can snug them down. Now we're going to torque these to 115 inch-pounds. Now for our hood latch cable, we are going to reinstall them on these holders. So slide them over, push down, and close the holder. Same with this one, slide them in and push down. Now for our hood latch connector. There's a clip here, slide it onto the crossbar, and reinstall the connector. Push down, and secure the red tab. Now we're going to reinstall our upper radiator mounting posts. Slide the rubber grommet over the radiator and hand thread on your 13mm bolts. Now just snug it down. Repeat the process for the other side. Now we're going to reinstall our radiator to reservoir coolant hose. Make sure it's fully seated and reinstall your clamp. Now let's reinstall our headlights. We're going to reinstall our connector. Slide it over in place. Make sure you hear that click. And push the red tab down. Now I'm going to slide it in place, making sure that our upper mounting tab is in place on the fender. Now we can install our 4 7mm bolts. We're going to start on this bottom one. Just snug it down. Now for the one on the corner. And the 2 ones on top. I'll repeat the process for the other side. Now to reinstall our bumper. I'm going to start off at the corner with our electrical connector. Going to position the bumper near the vehicle, slide the connector in, make sure it's fully seated, and push the red tab in. Make sure it's fully secure. Now let's place the bumper on the vehicle. I'm going to slide it in place. Now I'm going to go along to the corners of the bumpers and install them. Make sure my bumper is fully seated. I'm going to align the tabs. And push in. As you can see, now it's fully flush. Repeat the process on the other side. Now to install our 7mm bolts on the corners of our bumper. Now just snug it up and repeat the process for the other side. Now to reinstall our fender liner into the bumper. Gonna push it in on the corners. Make sure it's fully in the bumper. Now for our 5 T15 Torx screws. I'll just be snugging these down. Now repeat this on the other side. Now we're going to move along to the mud flap and corner of the bumper to install our 7mm bolts. Again, just snug this down. Now repeat the process for the other side. Now for our 6 7mm bolts under the bumper. Again, just snug these down. Now for our 6 T15 Torx screws on the grill. Just make sure they're snug. Now to refill our coolant, I place a rag over the battery to ensure no coolant gets on if it spills. I'll be reusing my old coolant, so I'm just going to install it. Now we could go ahead and remove our funnel and install our coolant reservoir cap. Go ahead and start the vehicle. Take it for a test drive, ensure it gets up to operating temp, inspect for any leaks, and check your reservoir, and if needed, top off coolant. Thank Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.